So, don't really know where to start here. The video quality is not that great, but if I continue to do this, then I don't know, I'll figure something else out. I had thought about doing this for a while, and I had really hoped that I could talk about my situation with Meniere's, and maybe it could be inspirational for people who really struggle on how to just figure out how to cope with this thing. But I don't know, I'm not feeling very inspirational at the moment. So anybody who's watching this who has Meniere's knows, I guess, the hopelessness that comes with it. I had really hoped that my issue would be limited to my right ear, and when I had the gentamicin injections, that once my brain figured out how to adapt to the new situation, that it would just, all be good. It would all be uphill, uphill, I guess is the way to say it. Unfortunately for me, it has manifested in my left ear. So I guess I get to go through the whole process all over again. And my last visit with my doctor, I had assumed, you know what they say about assuming, it makes an ass out of you and me. I had assumed that because my vestibular apparatus in my right ear had pretty much been destroyed on purpose to relieve me of the spinning vertigo that I had all last summer. I had assumed that the spinning vertigo was because when you have one ear that's bad and the other one that is good, the conflicting signals to your brain are what causes the spinning. But that is not the case. My doctor informed me that I could again have spinning vertigo if the left ear decides to go the route of the right, which is not news I wanted to hear. And so I saw him about 2 weeks ago, and actually at that point in time things were pretty good. The left ear had rebounded. I had an attack, I guess I want to say it was in April. And it actually affected both sides. My hearing in my right ear was down to 20%, and my left was down to about 60, which is still considered severe hearing loss. When I saw him 2 weeks ago, everything had kind of rebounded back to where it had been before that attack. And then, lo and behold, beginning of last week, my symptoms in the left ear came back. So it's gotten a little better, but it's still not great. My equilibrium's off again, which makes driving interesting. I don't drive at night. I don't drive in the rain. And I don't drive very far. just because, when I absolutely do not drive in traffic, because the action of turning my head and looking over my shoulder and trying to make sure that I'm not, merging into somebody is enough to set me off. So the only way to describe this to someone who hasn't lived it is to imagine that you are drunk 24 hours a day, not by choice. Which I guess to some people might sound entertaining, but it's not when it's nonstop and you have no control over it. And this is when it's good. My biggest fear would be to go back to where I was last summer when I had spinning vertigo every day for sometimes 9 hours at a time. I had had bouts of spinning vertigo for a couple years, that's almost like it came in clusters. I would have a bout, and I'd feel really bad, almost like I was hungover or had, coming back from a bad bout of the flu for a couple days, and then I'd rebound, and then I'd be back to normal. But this last summer, there was no rebound. It just didn't stop. And it became impossible to just live. And the only answer until I could get in to see my doctor was they prescribed me a rather high dose of Valium, which it certainly does do the trick to shut off your nervous system so you don't have vertigo anymore. But it also kind of shuts off everything else. I describe it to my best friend Ginger, as like, it's almost as if there's a switch in your brain, the I give a shit switch, and somebody just reaches in there and they just turn it off. So, I didn't have vertigo anymore, but I was pretty much a zombie, and I just didn't really care about anything. Just didn't care. I mean, you could have walked in and said, the nuclear war just broke out. And I would have said, oh, that's nice. I can't live that way. So the other option was to have injections into my inner ear, which pretty much just destroyed my vestibular apparatus. And lo and behold, the vertigo stopped. The bad stuff did. I still, had my moments, but the spinning, I didn't have the spinning anymore. And that was an improvement. It took a little while. Normally what they do is they send you to this specialized physical therapy because your brain has to relearn how to cope with the new lack of equilibrium signals coming from one side. And I went one time, and they rate you on this matrix on your severity, and I think it's 36 box matrix. It's a 6x6, and I scored a 32, which actually means I was barely impaired. So the fact that I was as fit as I was, and I exercised as much as I did, and I was in tune with my own body, I could control my balance, and there just really wasn't. I mean, I could go in and pay $100 a pop 3 times a week for them to have me stand in a corner on one foot for 5 minutes, which seemed a little silly to me, considering I can do that at home. I have as much education, if not more, than most of the therapists at that clinic, and I just felt like I could do better for myself, and I did. I kind of tailored my workouts and that kind of stuff toward retraining my brain on how to deal with the new circumstance. And plus, I realized that the best thing you can do for fall prevention is to be as strong as you can be. That's something that I learned when I used to teach seniors. I used to teach a fall prevention class for seniors, and it's all about making them stronger, especially in their core, because if you have a strong core, you don't tend to fall, because you're strong enough to catch yourself. If you do stumble, you can catch yourself. And that information served me very well. And things had gotten a lot better. Until they weren't. So now I'm sitting here by myself, trying to sell a house in the middle of a pandemic that, is partially real and partially manufactured by the government. Trying to move back to a state that I lived in 3 years ago. And, stress is not your friend with this issue. It's not your friend. So, that's kind of where I'm at. And there's just some days it's hard to be optimistic. It is. It's hard. Because I used to be, I was the person who would drive by myself for 10 hours. I wanted to go see my kid 3 states away. I'd get in my vehicle and I'd go. I drove back from upstate New York to Florida by myself. It was 3 days on the road. And I can't do it anymore. Just can't. Because I don't know. I honestly don't know from minute to minute. You know, I could leave the house and feel fine. And 5 minutes later, things change. And, you know, it's like I'm 3 drinks into a, you know, drinking bench. It's just makes things a little tough. But maybe, and it kind of feels stupid sitting here talking to myself on the computer screen with the little green light staring at me on a laptop that's completely outdated. This is a laptop I bought for graduate school. It was great then. It's a little slow now. But, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? I'm 50 years old. Somebody, you know, on the surface would look at me and think I'm perfectly healthy. Which I guess compared to a lot of people, I am more healthy. I considered the other day, there's so many women my age, or younger than me, maybe just a little bit older, but I know so many. Cancer. And maybe this is my curse. Cancer's not going to be my thing. It's going to be Meniere's. Which is good and bad. It's good in that, you know, generally speaking, Meniere's disease isn't terminal. You know, it's not going to kill you. As long as you're smart. You know, but you don't try to drive yourself for 14 hours in the dark and rain, you know. But the flip side is, at least with cancer, there's treatment. People get where you're coming from. There's research, there's funding for research. Really don't have that for Meniere's. It's pretty rare. So, you know, there's not a lot of money. I guess it's not glamorous enough for Hollywood. There's really just not a lot of treatment for it. Most people who get it end up becoming, from what I've gathered on some of these support sites on social media. I don't know if I'd call them support sites, to be honest with you. All I see is a lot of people crying, woe is me, and I mean, I see a lot of shut-in people, shut-ins, that literally just don't do anything. And I understand that because I am not nearly the same person that I used to be. I don't like noise. It's painful. And it's hard for my husband, who is a social butterfly, to understand that, you know, when he says he wants to go see a movie or go to a concert, that he's asking me to do something that is extremely uncomfortable and painful to some extent. It'd be like me asking him to put his hand on a hot stove. But I just don't think he gets it. Sometimes he gets it, sometimes he doesn't. You know, I think a lot of people think that you're just making this up. It's all in your head. I wish I was making up. I really wish I was. I'd like to be the person that I was, 5 years ago. I really would like to go back to being that person. But I don't think it's going to happen. I just don't think so. So, I'm at a point where I've just got to figure out how to make the best of it. And it's frustrating. It's very frustrating because the chaos that is happening in our country right now, it's not something that is completely unexpected to me. And there was a part of me that always lived my life the way I did because I wanted to be prepared. I just wanted to be able to fend for myself and be prepared when things did get ugly. And now it looks like things are really getting ugly, and I can't even manage to walk across a room in the dark. So, where do you go from there? So, maybe everything will just blow over after November. We'll see what happens. But what's going on with me personally in my brain and processing, it is not going to blow over. So I just have to figure out how to make it work. And that's all I can do. It's just keep on and chugging. Yeah. As you can see by how I'm dressed, it's going to work out today. Just didn't have the energy. Worked out yesterday. That's where I'm at right now. My equilibrium's so bad that I can usually manage about 3 days a week, maybe 4. But you don't realize how much extra energy you use when your balance is all jacked up. So, and I mean that happened like overnight. I went from working out 5 to 6 days a week for a solid hour, if not more, every day, running 3 to 4 miles on my treadmill, lifting weights, doing high intensity interval training. Getting my heart rate up to about like 180 on a regular basis, and being able to sustain that for an hour. Well, not 180 the whole time, but when I'm doing HIIT training, I would peak and then go down. But I could handle it at age 50. 180 at 50 is nothing to scoff at. Okay? And when this latest round bout hit, I just couldn't do it. It's not that I didn't try. It just takes a lot of extra effort and energy when your equilibrium is really screwed. So, well, here's the other thing. You see this right here? If anybody who does know me ends up watching this, they'll know that I generally have always had long hair. And very, very thick long hair. Well, I've got about half of what I used to have. In the last month, half of my hair has fallen out. I don't know if it's stress or if it's one of the drugs they put me on. They put me on a drug thinking that it's, there's this theory that Meniere's is caused by a virus attacking your inner ear. And, I've done an antiviral before and just really didn't do anything. And, oh no, try this new one. It's a newer one. It's more readily absorbed by your body. In the meantime, they put me on a round of steroids. That's the usual prescription when you have an acute attack. And I've had hair loss because of doing a round of steroids before, but not like this. Not like this. I mean, I had hair loss, but it only lasted about like a week, and then it went back to normal. I ended up reaching out to my compounding pharmacist, and she was just like, oh, the antivirals, they have that. So sure enough, I look it up, and of course it's a rare side effect, but it's known. And if somebody's going to have a rare side effect, it's going to be me. So yeah, I guess right about the time Steven left and went to Texas, my hair started falling out in handfuls. So I'm down to about half of what I used to have. And today I am going to have it cut short to try to, maybe in the hopes that if it's shorter and I don't have to comb it and pull it and whatever, that maybe it'll quit jumping out of my head so bad. So if the hair loss stops, then I'll grow it back out. If it doesn't, then I guess I'll be bald. I was talking it over with my neighbor, and I said, I'll just wear a hat. I'm not a wig person. It's just too much aggravation. I'll wear a scarf, or I'll wear a hat. Whatever. What am I going to do? Both my boys shave their heads bald. I guess I'll just join the club. It'll be funny. They both have such beautiful hair and they both keep it so short. That's okay. Well, we shall see. So next time, if I do this again, it'll be a lot shorter. No, let me see. Let's see if I can find the photo. What I'm going for. That's the camera. That's not what I'm looking for. We're going for. Oh, move it this way. Everything's backwards. Going for that. Because my hair is curly. And I really need something that's low maintenance. And at least this way, it's long enough in the front that I can put a headband on and get it out of my face when I'm working out. That's one of the things I can't stand. I can't stand to have hair on my face when I'm working out. Of course, my husband is none too pleased. He likes the long hair. I basically just told him it wasn't up to him. It wasn't up to him. It's my head. Now we're going on 5 weeks of massive hair loss. I just don't know what else I'm going to do. It's not like I do anything with it anyway. It's usually, this has been the go-to look for about a month. see. If I do this again, might post it to YouTube and Rumble. We'll see. I know there's other people out there. I know there's other people out there that have this thing a lot worse than I have. I'm not going to say that I was lucky because I was as fit as I was. I wasn't lucky. I worked for every bit of that. Fitness doesn't come for free. It's just like freedom isn't free. Fitness isn't free either. Okay? And I've got a lot of room for improvement. My body fat is way higher than it has been in probably the last 15 years. But I can still perform, or I could until this last bout, you know. So, that doesn't come for free. It doesn't happen in a vacuum. Other thing I'm doing is my other theory is I'm trying to work on my gut bacteria to see if maybe my gut bacteria is all screwed up and it's affecting my immune system, which is affecting this, and whatever. Can't hurt. So, in the meantime, I eat a very bland diet. I virtually eat no salt. To the point that I get a lot of cramps in my feet and my legs because I don't need, my salt intake is so incredibly low. So incredibly low. Which pretty much means I don't go out anymore. We went over to some friend's house the other day and they got pizza and wings. And I was like, can't help you. Well, you guys have fun. I'm not eating it. Not eating it. Too much salt. So, that's my choice. Just gotta try to hang on every way you can. Look at it that way. 50 years old. I'll be 51. I'm like, what's today? The 30th. So, officially 23 days from my 51st birthday. But that's what you do. You just find a way to cope and adapt and figure it out along the way. Uncharted waters. So we'll see. I may publish this just because I know there's other people out there. It might be nice to know that they're not the only one that deals with this. It is a nightmare. It is a curse. Absolutely is a curse. We shall see. Next time you see me, my hair will be a lot shorter. And maybe my, I don't know, maybe this bout will pass and things will go back to the normal that I've had for a little while at least, where I can kind of fend for myself. We'll see what tomorrow brings. And until then, everybody, take care. Try to stay sane in these crazy times. And always question. Always question. Always do your own research. Don't take anybody's word for anything.